Hello, Internet. This is Whispering Whim, bringing you a smaller grocery haul for January. I did my big shopping trip the first week, and that video just was not meant to be. I had a lot of technical difficulties, and then the landscapers decided that blowing the leaves was a thing they wanted to do that day. So I had like audio cutting in and out, and then contaminated sound from the leaf blowers, and it just wasn't meant to be. But that being said, that is my biggest complaint for January so far. 2022. Can you believe that that is the year? I'm still kind of waiting for 2020 to happen. Anyways, it's a little on the small side, but we do have some things to look at. So let's start here. I had to get some like household items, and these aren't usually featured in our grocery hauls, but since it was so small, I decided I'd save them and show them off. We have some Head and Shoulders Classic Clean 2-in-1. That is for my guy. He likes his shampoo to be very simple and straightforward. So, one little swoop and it is done. He's clean. I get jealous of guys sometimes. And then we have some Q-tips for various things, but I'll confess I use them in my ear. I know you're not supposed to. But it's just so satisfying. Do you use Q-tips in the forbidden ear canal? Moving on though, we have some shoelaces. My guy is always breaking his shoelaces. It's odd to me. He goes through about, I don't know, I'd say about 3 pairs of laces for the lifetime of a shoe. And I very rarely, I don't think have I ever. I think maybe once in my life I've had to replace the laces before I've had to replace the shoe. That could mean that I'm buying some really low quality shoes, and maybe I'm just setting the bar too low for myself. But it's always strange to me that he breaks them. Next up, we have some toothpaste, good old dental hygiene. And then some deodorant. These are both from my guy. I couldn't decide which scent I wanted him to have this month. He doesn't have like a classic go-to scent. And that's okay with me. I know some people like their guy always wears classic Old Spice and they smell like that and it makes them think of their guy. But my guy, like even when he puts on deodorant, it's so mild. Like he must only put on like this, a little like dab or something. He doesn't stink. Not at all. But I rarely notice the difference for more than like a day. But I do have fun going through the deodorant aisle and smelling all of them and picking like random ones. Had to get the Kraken Guard because he is a fan of cephalopods. Most specifically, he likes H.P. Lovecraft. And that's a good tie-in for my shirt today. I love crafting, so there's a little squid monster in there. He's kind of like technically an elder god that'll make you go insane, but this is a food channel. Well, kind of, sort of, but definitely not a horror story channel. So let's get back to the food. This was a random purchase for the day. It's some tortilla chips that are spicy ranch flavored. This was at Sam's Club, and I've never seen this one before, so I figured we'd give it a go. I think my guy prefers potato chips over tortilla chips, but I've seen him eat plenty of tortilla chips, so spicy ranch. It's dangerously delicious. Following that, we have our ever classic avocado oil. Most people who know my cooking know that I have almost completely switched to avocado oil. I think it has a much more neutral flavor compared to, say, olive oil. But it is healthier than like hydrogenated vegetable oil. So it's kind of a good middle ground. Because I don't mind the taste of olive oil, but I think I really only use olive oil when I want to taste olive oil, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't think it's a neutral flavorant. So I do have some. I have a garlic flavored one right now, actually, that is quite potent. And it's kind of an odd garlic flavor, so I don't put it in a lot of things, but it works for some things. Okay, next up, we've got this big old guy, a 3-pack of marinara sauce, because it is spaghetti season finally. So spaghetti, and so sometimes I use this for stuffed bell peppers, or if I'm feeling lazy, I'll use it for my pizza casserole. When I'm not lazy, I'll hand make the sauce for that one, but I don't know if my guy tells the difference all that much, but I can. Anyways, spaghetti sauce. And then, finishing off this bag is our coffee. And those of you who have been hanging out with me for a long time know that I am a bit of a coffee fiend, but new development, I am not a coffee fiend anymore. I drink coffee. I still like coffee, but I don't know. I don't have the urge to drink it like I used to. And so, like, sometimes in the morning, instead of making a whole pot of coffee, I'll boil water and make tea. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure why the shift happened. I do know that I was starting to get a few little tummy aches occasionally when I was drinking coffee. So maybe it was just time. Because, it's pretty rough on your stomach lining. I hear that that's something that a lot of people have to cut out at some point. So, I'll still drink a cup. Don't get me wrong. But where we used to go through like a bag this size, probably monthly, something like that'll last us 2, maybe 3 months now. So it's a big difference. Next up, so funny story. I did the grocery haul that was supposed to be the video 2 weeks ago now, a week and a half, I don't know. And then the whole video just was like, blah, didn't work. So I scrambled and I grabbed everything that I didn't think I was going to immediately use, and I set it aside in a bag and put it in my like dining kitchen area that's really just my craft room, so that we wouldn't touch it and open it up. And I still had a few things to show off, because I would have felt really guilty if I hadn't made a video this month. So first of the things that I got but didn't need right away, some kettle cooked salt and pepper potato chips. I got some Brenton sesame crackers. You may recall last month I made some homemade hummus for my guy to take to a Christmas party, right? And it was a delicious batch, but we didn't actually get to eat that much of it. So I vowed that I would make some more hummus. And pita chips. I got pita chips for the last batch because I knew I wasn't going to eat most of it. But they're really rough on my braces. So the Brenton crackers are a lot more tender, and I kind of like the flavor. Pita chips and hummus, kind of classic, but I think the sesame crackers will be just fine. Next up, we have, speak of the devil, some garbanzo beans, or as they're known in some locations, chickpeas. These are the base of hummus. Hummus would actually be really healthy if you didn't mind it being a little dry, because, like, beans are good for you. Let's see here. Total fat, 2 grams. Carbohydrate, 21. That's a little high, but 4 of that's dietary fiber. And it has 6 grams of protein. Like non-animal protein right in here. But when you make hummus, you add a lot of oil. And my guy likes his really loose. And the way you accomplish that, you can water it down, but it's not quite the same as just adding more oil. So I kind of make a not diet-friendly hummus. Still better than potato chips, though, I think. Next up, we have a moon pie. That's just to give a little variety and fun twist to my guys' lunches. I have a habit of like buying these super giant bulk packs at Sam's Club, right? Because it's just such a good deal to get like 24 snacks for, I don't know, it was like $10 or $8 sometimes. It's inexpensive, if you price it out per unit. But then we end up having like a 2-month supply of one kind of cookie, and I try to make things interesting. So I got him the moon pie, and I got him some Valentine's Day brownies. 'Tis the season. And I specifically got the brownies because I don't care for the brownies as much. I know this sounds mean, but they also had the fancy cake style, which is the white one with the white cream, and I don't know what it is. I know it's like mostly wax, the icing on those fancy cakes, the Little Debbie fancy cakes, but I adore those. I will eat like 2 packages in a sitting and then feel bad, but not bad enough to stop myself from eating 2 packages the next sitting. And I am definitely trying to be back on track. After the wedding, I let myself eat everything I wanted to eat, and I've done that. So now it's time to simmer down. I've been going back to the gym. I've been swimming. Only lost 2 pounds so far, but any improvement is an improvement. So we have some cinnamon sugar donuts. That is for my guy to enjoy on the weekends because he likes to have a little bit of breakfast. I usually make some bacon. He has donuts with his bacon, and I have cauliflower. So yeah. Next up, we have some shake and bake. And the reason why I got this is that there were some chicken thighs that were on like super sale. And this was the grocery trip that I had done a few weeks ago or whenever. It was, I kid you not, $2.50 for 1.5 pounds of chicken thighs from a really good brand, like Simply Naked. It'd be a different thing if it was like Kroger or something. That wouldn't be a good price. But for that brand, it was a really good price. And they weren't actually that close to their expiration date. So I picked them up. And then I felt guilty because my guy doesn't seem to like dark meat. He has this weird, he only wants chicken breast. And I guess that's a lot of people. But I was hoping that if I could do some shake and bacon here, that we would elevate those thighs and kind of get something good. Because there is cheaper chicken, especially at Winco and Sam's Club. I could get chicken as low as, I think the lowest I've seen in like recent times, like after COVID happened, was $1.98. So I can get cheap chicken, but it tends to not have a great texture, right? And I'm a big texture person, especially now that like everything sticks and like lives in my braces and I have to floss it out again. So, all right. And then since this was a off kind of a trip, this is a in-between trip technically, that I would do kind of in between videos. This is big for an in-between trip, so it works out. But anyways, to help fluff things up, I decided to include my Total Wine purchases for today. The first one being a bottle of sake. Now that we have a wine fridge, it's good to keep a few beverages in it, right? Otherwise, it defeats the purpose of keeping it plugged in, right? Sake, I enjoy, and my guy has a particular set of friends that also really like sake. So it's good to keep this kind of in there. So if we randomly need to go over there, we don't have to stop off at the grocery store on the way over. And I like having stuff already available. Plus, getting it at Total Wine is so much cheaper. So this brand right here, you can find at most of the sushi places in town, and anything like Japanese themed, right? A really good Japanese steakhouse in town that does like the teppanyaki, where they like fling vegetables and crack eggs, and it's a whole show. They'll charge $40 to have one of these bottles at the restaurant. Now, granted, part of that is the process of them keeping it in stock and chilled and having glasses. So, okay, right? The mid-range sushi restaurant here in town will charge you $60 for this bottle right here, if you wanted to have a whole bottle at the table. Which, doing it that way is still cheaper than buying sake by the little carafe. But if I go down to the wholesalers, Total Wine, I can get this bottle for $15. So it makes me seem like I'm such a generous guest, right? Because these friends of my guy, they know that that bottle costs like $60 in the restaurant. So I feel sneaky sneak, and then I blab to them that it's cheap. Well, I mean, not cheap, but cheaper than this baby. So I was in, I guess it was November, getting some beverages for the upcoming holiday season. I wanted to get Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's all in one go. It was an expensive little trip. And at the time I went, they had a tasting for this, and they had a discount on it. And the discount made it like $10 a bottle. So I liked it. I took it home, had some more of it, and I liked it even better at home. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have that wine again. Yeah, you don't want to know, even at the cheap Total Wine, like the same place that I got the sake at, even there, this is a $35 bottle of wine. So I couldn't get it for a bit, right? But they sent me a coupon for 50% off one wine, so I'm like, okay, for 50% off, it is a good wine. I mean, if I was rich, I'd pay $30 all the time for it, but I'm not. However, I am willing to use a coupon to pay like $17 for it. That's acceptable to me. Next up, because this was a big like Sam's Club run, I have so much toilet paper. So fun fact, I have been avoiding going to Sam's Club for a little bit. I can't remember the last time I was in there. I don't think it was that long ago, but long enough. And we ran out of TP. And I was like, well, then I'm just going to get it at the grocery store. And I went to, it's kind of a nicer grocery store. I have two that are near me. And one is more expensive, but the produce is like the best. And then the other one is still expensive. And the produce is medium, but it's slightly less expensive. Anyways, I was at the more expensive of the two, just picking up a little bit of produce because I need to do that sometimes. And I was like, we're out. I'm just going to get a tiny, tiny package. You know, one of those little 4-packs, right? And I didn't quite see the price, but I knew that I was getting a bargain brand. It was Scott's, stuff that's like one ply. And I was like, this can't be that bad, right? I get to the checkout and 4 rolls of 1-ply toilet paper. That's awful. Just awful. Cost me $7. $7. I know. Maybe that doesn't sound like a lot of money, but there are 32 rolls in here. And I got it for $18. So I'll let you do the mental math on that one. But suffice to say, getting better toilet paper for like a quarter of the price is my jam. Even though now I have to figure out where to store this thing. It gets easier once we've like used up one of the sleeves, because underneath our sink we can basically fit 3 of the sleeves, so there's always 4. And then hiding in the corner here, we have 2 seltzer waters. We've got our alcoholic seltzer water and our non-alcoholic seltzer water. I'm having some of the non-alcoholic right here. Last of my other case that I had gotten, I guess at the last grocery trip. I have found that I have been drinking a lot of seltzer water. You know, it makes you feel like you're drinking something, because like water just feels like filler sometimes, right? But obviously I'm not going to have like orange juice or something really calorie dense like a soda. So seltzer water for the win, for sure. And then I do have a few cooler items, just a smattering of cooler stuff. But we'll go ahead and show that off. At Sam's Club, I got some ground beef that was on discount. Best to use or freeze by January 12th, and today is the 11th. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. Most meats are actually good for a little bit after the sell by date. The sell by date is really just when, for as long as they'll guarantee the freshness, it's not like suddenly the bacteria have a stopwatch and they're like, oh, look at that, 3 days have passed, now your meat's bad. It doesn't work like that. So I am not ashamed. Especially if it's already quality meat to start with, like that's good meat there. So, and then on the not so cheap spectrum, I got a big old corned beef brisket. I have been shoving these things in Instapots for as long as Instapots. I got married in October. It hasn't been that long. I got a Instapot for a wedding, and now I love making corned beef and roasts, but OMG, corned beef is not cheap. Which is hilarious, because all that like pickling and spices and stuff were supposed to mask the fact that a brisket is actually a tougher cut of meat. You know, you have to cook it forever because it's not a great, it's not primo quality. But right now at Sam's Club, corned beef is more expensive than their sirloin per pound, which just blows my mind. But I love it, so I got it. I kind of promised my guys' sisters, my new sisters, my family has grown, that I would make it for them. And so I got the whole shebang. Okay. And I should have cleared this all away. I'm feeling too lazy. Forge ahead. We have some naan bread. This is also for the hummus. I kind of doubled down on hummus stuff. I probably went a little too excessive, but you can use this for all sorts of things. Naan is very tasty, so I'm looking forward to that. And then we've got, come on, some blueberries. This big old container of blueberries only cost me $4, and considering it's not really blueberry season, considering it's January, I think that was a pretty good price. I hope they were sufficient quality. I almost tasted one in the store and then decided that I better not. I think back before the masks, I was less worried about being caught eating fruit, I guess. You know, because you just grab it and, okay, this is a good one. I'll buy this whole pack. But now you have to like pull the mask down and put that in there. And then you have to think about, well, now I touched my mask, so I shouldn't really touch anything else. And it's weird. Like, COVID has had a big impact. But sometimes looking at the little things it's done is sometimes like, I got, oh, it's off camera because I already started eating it. I got a rotisserie chicken and I wanted to put it in a plastic baggie because, you know, there's juices and stuff in there. And the easiest way to open one of those plastic bags, you know, the grocery store ones, is to like lick your finger and do this sort of a thing. They'll open right up. But you can't do that now. And I spent like a whole minute trying to open up the bag. Anyways, I'm like high speed talking. Let's try one of these. Yeah, you can tell they're a little out of season. Not bad though. Definitely within the edible range. Yeah, for $4. Can I really complain? Yes, but I won't. Alright. And finishing off our mini, not so mini, in between, not so in between grocery haul. We got some carrots. And yeah, that finishes things up. Now then, it has been a very long time actually since I have done any shout outs. You know, I used to like read them ahead of time and like try to memorize names and then repeat them back because it felt more personable that way. And it was kind of stressing me out a little bit, I think, because I wouldn't always remember the name right, or I'd forget one of the ones I really wanted to say hi to. And I think I kind of just started doing less shout outs because I was like adverse to how to say it, disappointing anybody. But I know people love to hear their name. Like, people love their names. So we're going to do like a bunch of shout outs to kind of like make up for lost time. And as I open this up, I see that there's a couple of things I haven't even responded to yet. Bad me. So, in no particular order, thank you to them new guys, Hot Sauce 188, Sharon Nelson, Chubberino Whispers, Ellie Lutz, Wicca Banks, Veronica Strom, Lori Futrell, Luana. That's a pretty name. I like that. Luana. Ern, Sarah Flowers, Isabella Allison, Life on Plants. All right, that's probably enough. So, thank you guys for all your comments. I do read them eventually. I kind of get little like online adverse at times. I have to do social media for my job. So like YouTube's my hobby. You know, I just make these videos for fun. So sometimes I'm like, I'm a little burnt out on like commenting and stuff, but I still do love them. And it keeps me doing this channel because, you know, without someone to talk to, why would I turn on a camera and go through all the effort of like figuring out how to do a grocery video when I've already done my grocery shopping, right? So without much further ado, I want to say thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Nighty night.